Week 5 of the fantasy basketball season is here already, and here's a few centers that can help you this week and beyond that to pick up on the waiver wire. The first guy is Naz Reid of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Naz Reid, he's going to fill in once again for Karl Anthony Towns. And we saw him have a couple decent games early in the season when Towns was out with the dislocated wrist, but now he's got the virus. He's going to be out probably a week or two, I would assume, is Towns. And on the season, Naz Reid's averaging 10.8 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.4 steals a game, a block, and a 3 a game, 54% from the field. So that's not the greatest of numbers, but he's a player that's obviously going to start. He's going to get 25 to 30 minutes a game. And last season in spurts, when Towns was out again with an injury, we saw Naz Reid explode and help many fantasy owners get to the playoffs or even win their championship as a decent piece to their team. So Naz Reid, I know he's capable of playing well and putting up decent numbers, and I think he's definitely worth an ad this week with Anthony Towns out once again, and he's available in 89% of fantasy leagues. The next center I would try to get on waivers this week's Coreystein of the Dallas Mavericks. Coreystein, he's been filling in well for the injuries of Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell, who's also got the virus and on the list. And Coreystein, the last couple games filling in, he's put up good stat lines. January 13th at Charlotte, 4 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. And he shot 100% from the field. Then the 15th versus Milwaukee, 11 points, 11 boards, a block and assist, and he shot 71% from the field. And then last night, another decent game versus the Bulls, 62% from the field, 10 points and 5 rebounds. So Coreystein, as long as he's going to play and start some decent minutes here, he's going to help you in rebounds. So he's going to get about a block and a half a game, and he's not going to hurt you in field goal percentage. And right now, he's available in about 80% of fantasy leagues, and I think he's definitely worth the pickup unless Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber come back any game now. But I think Coreystein's been producing better this season so far than those two guys. The next center is Kelly Olynyk of the Miami Heat. He was on the list last week, and he makes it once again here. Not many people went out to the wire and picked up Olynyk. They actually dropped him. His percentage ownage has went down 4%, and Olynyk, he's still available now in 57% of fantasy leagues. And last week, his averages were mediocre. He averaged 10 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, a steal, 1.7 threes, and 41% from the field was Olynyk. So Olynyk on the season, he's ranked 130th. He's going to hit 3-pointers. He's a decent rebounder, and his field goal percentage will be like about 45-50% for the season. But Kelly Olynyk, he's playing major minutes for this Heat team. They still got a couple guys banged up or on the COVID list. And I think Olynyk, he's going to be decent for the rest of the season and have a major role. He's going to play anywhere from 25-30 minutes, and I think he'll be fine for the Miami Heat and fantasy owners. The next center is Lopez of the Washington Wizards. He was on the list last week, and he makes it once again here. Lopez this season, he's going to have tons of value now that Thomas Bryant's obviously out for the season with the torn ACL. The only thing with Robin Lopez is he hasn't played since January 11th. Now have been postponed is because they didn't have enough guys to dress. But Lopez filling in for Bryant in one game we saw so far. Then they couldn't play. 11 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 83% from the field. So Lopez, he's going to get some good minutes. He's going to start, obviously, with Bryant out, and he's a veteran on this ball club. And the Wizards, they're still trying to compete, obviously, this year to get to that 8th or 10th seed to get into the playoffs. And Lopez, he's going to play tons of minutes. He's a veteran. He knows how to get the job done, and he can help fantasy owners. And right now, he's available in 87% of fantasy leagues, and he has no one blocking him at that starting center position anymore. So you should go out there and get him. And hopefully the Wizards, they play soon. And the fifth and final guy I would try to add at center on waivers this week's Birch of the Orlando Magic. Birch, he's been playing well as a backup this season for the Magic, and he's had a couple good games over the last few weeks, and his averages on last week's game, 7.7 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 45% from the field. It isn't all that great, but on the season, 7.8 points a game, 6.1 rebounds, an assist a game. He's giving you 53% from the field, so he's going to help you in a few categories: points, rebounds, a decent field goal percentage. He's not a three-point shooter, but he's one of the main guys off the bench here for the Magic team, and he's playing more minutes as the season's been going on, and he's definitely a recommended add at this point. In deeper leagues, probably more than standard, because he's available in 90% of fantasy leagues. We got to see a little more out of him for him to get added in more leagues. But if you're in a deep league or if you got a lot of injuries and you're desperate, Birch, he's definitely worth an add. And that's a few centers I would add on waivers this week, heading into week 5 of the fantasy basketball season.